Hello, and welcome to Shades of Pleasure, a podcast celebrating pleasure, sexuality, and the vibrant, inclusive spectrum of love, gender, and relationships. I'm your host, Mo, and with me are my co-hosts, Melissa, Wayne, and Kelly. And together we hope to dismantle tropes that no longer suit us and change the narrative towards more authentic living.
I feel like I can start this one out.
Yeah.
But saying, I often have clients wanting me to tell them what to do. And I tell them if they knew some of the mistakes I've made in my life, they would not want that. They wouldn't want that. They wouldn't want me to. Because as therapists, we can't therapize ourselves. And sometimes our lives are screwed up, but we can still be good therapists.
It's funny how we can hold space for someone while everything around us is falling apart.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that way? It almost it's like it's nice to sometimes focus on somebody else's life for that brief, 50 minutes or whatever that we're with a client where we don't
Yeah.
have to think about ours.
Yeah. I guess some people could say, well, that's a skill to be able to sort of compartmentalize and turn that off. And some people could call it dissociation or denial, because we do have to turn off. We do have to turn. I mean, I'm saying all this in jest, but we do have to be able to turn off our own mess going on in our head to be able to show up and hold that space for our clients.
Sometimes it's easy. Like sometimes your clients are not going through anything related to what you're going through. I think it's when they're all of a sudden going through something that you have gone through or that you're maybe even currently going through, or there's like some similarity. That's when it can get a little wonky.
Yeah, but
So are there ways or ways to like is it a must? Do we always have to compartmentalize and turn off you know, our personal things going on? Like is there ever a way in which therapists use that, like bring in their whole person selves into the session? I'm just curious
I use
what y'all
my
think about
personal
that.
experiences all the time. Like I feel like my personal experiences totally inform my work, but I think what I'm saying is like certain times and like my experiences after the fact, right? Like, oh, I
Right.
went through that and so I've got some personal experience through the thing. But if it's something that I'm experiencing currently, it can be that can be messy if we're not like
Yeah.
being really careful, I guess. But
Yeah.
like I think
We're
the topic is, though I don't want to get completely away from it, is like why can't we therapize ourselves, right? I think there's this feeling or belief that if we, because we're therapists and coaches, that oh we must be able to enact the same skills in our own lives. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. I think we have all of the tools, yes, but like actually applying them is really hard, right? Like we all need our own therapists to help us like see through our own muck.
I don't even think it's just the application of it. I think it's difficult to process something on your own. Like I know I'm one of those kind of people that when I'm going through something, I kind of want to I isolate a little bit and I try to figure out. I try to let the dust settle in my head and figure it out. But that's only so that I can process it with someone else. I feel like I have to have some point of pushback or I have to. I think we have to be in a relationship with someone else or something else to even get perspective, and you can't do that alone.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do you tell your clients that you're a hot mess?
Mess Express, shit show radio. No,
Would our clients stop seeing us if they knew that we were hot messes in our own lives?
Mm.
I don't. I want to think not, and
Mm-mm.
and I think when we're working with people, there's already some sort of connection, some sort of. We've figured out we align in values enough. We've figured out a lot of things about each other, and I think it just makes us real. And I think people understand that we're just people and that we have our own problems. I don't think my
Mhm.
clients would. I mean, my clients actually know quite a bit about me. I know some of them will be listening to this. Some of them tell me they listen to this.
Yeah.
So I know they know things about me and I
Yeah,
share
for
things.
sure. And that's
Yeah.
another interesting thing, like when you have somewhat of a public voice or image and you provide the therapy, right? Like that's a thing maybe we can talk about as well.
Yeah. I really like what Kelly said. I think that as well as like my clients know me well enough that if even if they saw certain aspects of my life, they wouldn't not want to work with me because I'm able to bring so much of because I've experienced so much and I'm able to resonate with them because of my own like lived experiences. It's like I think that they take what because I bring a lot of myself to when I'm working with clients and I'm so open with certain things and I think that it is really helpful because they even ask me questions like, so what did you do? Or how were you able to overcome this? Or when you experienced this, what was this like for you? And I think that is helpful for them, because they see that I'm not just giving them just information. I've most likely lived a lot of these things I'm talking about with them and help them work through. So yeah. I know that, and then also another part. I know that Melissa, we used to talk about this. I didn't really get it at one point when she was a therapist and I was not doing anything. I was pre me doing anything, and I remember we would have a discussion or get into like a deep conversation before she would go in session. She would kind of just like, Wayne, look, it's really not helpful for us to get into these talks before I go into session. I was like, and then once I started doing it, I was like, oh wow, hey, can we not get into a conversation before I go into session? So I was able to understand that part, like to have to go into session and still show up and turn that part off, that maybe had just gone through something that felt really hard or my emotions were heightened because of what we just talked about. So yeah.
Yeah, you get all dysregulated and then you gotta go be the voice of reason in your sessions. That's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
It can be.
having trouble. Like, okay, wait, what would my actual answer be to the question? Why is it that as therapists we can't necessarily therapize ourselves? And I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I started thinking, well, what Wayne just said sort of triggered this thought in me is, I've always, as a therapist, enjoyed case consultations with other people and conceptualizing cases. And I can only go so far with that in my head. At some point, I'll be like, Mo, I'm having trouble with this, or Melissa Wayne, what do you think about this? And to get the feedback helps me like get over any speed bump or helps me be able to flip it on its head or whatever. And so I guess now that I'm thinking about it like that, I think it's the same way for my own therapy, right? I can only go so far without just the help processing it. I don't really know how to answer it.
Yeah, and we're biased about our own lives too, right? Like in my own life, in my work, I can easily tell people to set boundaries and to do these certain things. But in my own life, that's really difficult,
Yeah.
right? Like setting boundaries with certain types of people has been really hard in my life. And yet I can see it so clearly when I'm talking to my clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see it, I can sense it, and I was like, "Oh, but I can't see it in my own life, right? I really need someone to point it out for me a lot of the time, right? Like
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
was
because
a situation
sorry.
recently where my therapist, sorry, was like didn't even point it out, was just like pointing out like facts that I had already talked about. And as she was saying it, that only then was I able to put the pieces together and be like, oh, I'm doing that in my own life. I'm not setting the appropriate boundaries. So sorry, go ahead, Melissa.
Oh, no, no, sorry. I interrupted you. I thought you were done. But I was just saying, yeah, I think because we're emotionally involved, and it's kind of the same reason why we can't why we can't be our own therapists is kind of the same reason why I guess we say like, I don't know how much you guys believe this too, but why we can't be, our partners, our spouse's therapist, or, anybody close to us, that we're emotionally connected to, or, invested in or attached to, because we are emotionally involved. And, with our clients, we're not in it
Yeah.
with them. We're not emotionally involved. We don't have emotional stake and investment in their lives. So we're able to kind of be a step outside of what's going on. Like we can't be a step outside. I mean, we can practice taking a step outside of our lives, but we can never truly be like a step outside of it because we're in it. It's our life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's hard to be objective. I mean, it's impossible to be objective when there's an emotional stake.
Yeah, but when we're saying we can't be our own therapist, that also, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's only a therapist, an outside perspective that you can get that insight. It could be through friends, it could be through listening to a podcast like this, it could be
Hmm.
from somebody yelling at
Watching
you.
movies, reading books, like all of those
Yeah.
things help me, or I find them to be very therapeutic. Like if I'm watching a movie that's similar to something I'm going through, it might not even be the similar like storyline. It's completely different storyline, but the characters are going through like similar relationship styles or enmeshment or whatever. Like I can totally like I find those to be really cathartic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to what Kelly said earlier when she's talking about processing things in her head, I think for me, when I process a lot of things for myself, I can start cycling. And I get caught in this loop, right? Because it's just things start to repeat, and so I need somebody to help process so I can break the loop. Because if I don't say it out loud and he can hear myself and then get someone's feedback, because I usually when I'm saying it out loud and I get someone's feedback, it helps me to see it differently. I'm like, oh yeah, like I now can see it, but it takes for me to be able to have that interaction with somebody. Like if I just process it in my head, I just start cycling.
Yeah. And my whole little thing, I have my certain little Kellyisms that I preach all the time, and one of them is whether we realize it or not. I think we're all often looking for like confirmation bias or proof that our negative narrative is true, and so we
Yeah.
need sometimes somebody to knock that lens out of the way and help us
Yeah.
challenge it. That's
Yeah.
often homework that I give people. Is like, hey, why don't you try to find proof that your negative narrative is not true? And it that takes work to do, and I don't think we do that on our own, right? I think that's another reason we need outside perspective telling us, helping
Mhm.
us through this.
What I have learned is that, and I don't know if Melissa would agree, but I feel like me and Melissa have gotten to a space to where we can. It doesn't work for one another, for sure. We can't. We're trying to talk about what's going on between us and trying to work. But if I come to her about like say outside relationship, or she comes to me from outside, we're able to remove ourselves and then be able to give a different, we can show up differently for one another than it is for us. I don't know if that's what you feel as well. Like I'm able to stand outside and actually talk to you in a way like as if I'm really helping out a friend, or like and because I'm not trying to gain anything. I'm not trying to get anything from it. I don't, it's nothing it's not a benefit to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part, yeah. And I think if I ever felt otherwise, we would check in on that. We would ask, and I would be that contrast, like Kelly said. I'll be the other person, be that, you know, push back to
Mm.
just make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know in that way we can help each other. And I know that's not helping each other. That's not still, it's not therapizing ourselves, but us within this relationship able to help each other without outside relationships, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, but this was, you texted several days ago. Hey, I've got an idea for the next topic. I'm curious what made you think of this.
It was the situation my therapist herself was like, um, you know, but she was just pointing out little things because I was actually giving someone the benefit of the doubt. And this is someone that I've had issues with. And she was like, yeah, but this and but this. And she wasn't coming out and saying, like, yo, this person is, you're giving too much to this person. She was just kind of pointing out like facts. And I was like, oh yeah, that is true. Like I had an intuition about the situation, and it wasn't until my therapist asked those questions that I was able to be like, oh yeah, I think I already knew the answer to this, right? Like sometimes our body tells us things, right? Like our body knows, but our brain doesn't necessarily trust what our body's saying, or our brain isn't really caught up to what our body's saying. Our brain has patterns and ways it processes that it kind of relies on, and it was kind of doing this same old thing that I tend to do. And so that's why it came up for me. I was like, this is why. And this is also with couples. Like I think that it's, yes, sometimes we can be like, that's same with friends and family and things like that. Sometimes we can bounce ideas off our friends and our partners and things like that. But sometimes it's good to get like a real outsider's perspective that doesn't know anything about you, that doesn't have any stake in the game, for couples as well as for individuals, right? So yeah, it was just something that was happening in my own life that I was like, this is why I need to, see a therapist. And I don't see my therapist like weekly, but I do check in with them when things come up, and or I just make sure that even if things aren't coming up that I do check-ins, because you can think that things aren't coming up, but maybe you're just repeating old patterns and you're not allowing yourself to break them because you're not getting that outside perspective, right? So
Mm.
if you're not talking about it with anyone, or if you're talking about it with the same people that either support you all the time or don't push back on certain things that you say, like you might not get the same perspective. And I think that's why working with a therapist specifically that isn't going to be biased about you, and they're not going to be in your life, right? They're more likely to give you that direct kind of feedback that I often need.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is because we all seek confirmation bias, we all need therapists. It has to give us that different perspective.
Well,
Maybe something
interestingly,
maybe I am saying something to that
Well,
effect. Yeah.
yeah, this
well,
one. Sure.
interestingly, I have experienced, I have an example of how it still can show up and how it does. I mean, to your point about all of that, Mo, I remember one time, one period when I was seeking a new therapist, I had in my mind a type of therapist that I wanted to have, and in,
Confirmation bias.
yeah, and in my mind,
I want a
exactly.
therapist that's going to agree with everything I say.
Right. No, but listen, it's so true. It's so true. So even though we can't be our own therapist, also when we're seeking therapists, like it still can seep in there, those biases and stuff, because I thought I wanted a therapist who was going to be, just gentle and like, and not gentle, but just, just really like warm with me and yes, challenging, but in a gentle way, right? So I had an interview or whatever, consultation with a therapist, and I was like kind of a little bit triggered at first. I mean, we agreed. I was like, okay, you know what? Look, the money is right, the fee is right with this person. Um, I don't know. I was just like, you know what? This is not what I had in mind, but let me see. I don't know. Let's go with it, right? There was something there that was like drawn to. Anyway, we started having therapy, and I was triggered at first because he was just really pushing back on me, like totally the opposite of what I thought I wanted. Um, and also he was honest and said, like, I'm not great at being like soft and, and gentle and things like that, which I appreciated about him. But he still tried, like he tried to do it in his own way or whatever, but then he also balanced it out with being him and like doing therapy the way that he does therapy best. Anyway, ended up being probably my favorite, the best therapy experience. We had to often check in, with the triggers, and we had to kind of have some repair sessions and things like that, where I was like, our therapeutic relationship often, not often, but sometimes became a topic in our sessions, which still served the bigger work that I was in there trying to do. So it
I
was
love
really
that.
cool. It was a really great experience to have. So yeah, I always, encourage like my clients to not, to like give the therapist a try. It might not seem, or even if they feel like they're not a good fit for you or whatnot, sometimes they can be because they actually are a good fit for you and they're just challenging. It's feeling challenging. So yeah.
Hmm. And I think therapy that's challenging is great, but I don't know that our world knows that. I don't
Mm.
know that people realize that that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great when people push back or when people, instead of ghosting or shying away or being like, oh, this isn't a good fit, like if we do offend or we do hurt someone's feelings or we're being a way that they don't like, whatever, that they actually talk with us about it and that there can be repairs. Like, I think there's something super just reparative at large about having that kind of therapeutic relationship. Like, this is, we've both invested a lot in each other. Someone was triggered or got hurt or whatever, and for them to have for you to have the kind of relationship with the therapist, I'm talking on either end of this, with this therapist or the client, that I don't care which side you're on, when the relationship has fostered that much safety and trust, that the client can say that I'm really upset with you or that really hurt my feelings or whatever, to be able to walk through that, I think is really great, because that's just hard to do out in the real world, and
Yeah.
it's even harder to do in a therapeutic relationship, because one person, whether we like it or not, is sitting in a little bit more power than the other. So I
Yeah.
Right.
just think that's really beautiful when those things happen.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, I'm not saying also that that type of reparative experience, requires a challenging therapist. Because I don't think a therapist has to be challenging in order to have that type of experience. I mean, in and of itself, therapy can be challenging. And it's just about like how we respond, to each other in that therapeutic relationship. So, and that we're able to do that together. So,
Mhm.
again, not also saying that gentle, kind, soft-spoken, warm therapists aren't used for, to therapy either, because yeah, depending, you might be the person who needs that type of approach.
You made me think about, I've had a couple times where I've done a consultation with a client, or it was a couple, and I can tell that one person likes me more, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we really want to work with you." And then they come in, and just to realize that now I'm not on their side like they may have thought I was going to be, and then they're like, "What? Wait, hold up! Like we there for him or them? Like no, like you don't see this? Like yeah."
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
What?
So
You
have
had
we
said
solved
something.
the problem? Or have we answered the question of why we can't therapize ourselves?
Yeah.
I mean, I love all these stories. I feel like in some way, shape, or form, they're kind of addressing that whole piece.
Yeah, I tell everybody like I know I can't therapize myself. Like don't do what I don't do as I do. Like yeah,
Take my
like
advice; it's great, and I'm not using
yeah,
it.
yeah. Do not do as I do. Like man, oh my God, it cost you. Like I know that I can't therapize myself. I definitely need some outside help just because of I try to the way I'm operating and moving. I'm trying to I tend to move in a way like what yeah. I'm okay with that. Like, yeah, that's not a problem, but it really is. And I'm just not being honest with myself. Like, oh, I'm okay with that, and I'm really not. And so, yeah. And then now I blow up because all these things have accumulated and I didn't take care of myself like I tell everybody else to take care of themselves because I'm trying to accommodate, I'm trying to people please, I'm trying to all these things. Even though I talk to my clients about these things because I can see it in them because I see it in myself.
Well, I think that
So,
as therapists, we are part of the big population, the bigger our population of therapists, or is we're more likely to self-abandon, right? So
mm,
we're taking care of people all the time. right? Our job is to take care of people. So I think that like the chances that we're also doing that in our own life is so great that I think therapists are at risk for being the population that self abandons the most. What you're talking about, Wayne, because what you're talking about is letting things slide when they don't. And even though we're talking to our clients about like boundaries and showing up for themselves and things like that, as therapists we're caregivers, right? Like the nature of our job is to abandon ourselves, right? Like how many people come in to last, for example, or like that I bump into in life and they're like, I should be a therapist. I'm always the one everyone goes to. Like everyone, so many people that I meet say that. I'm always the one that everyone goes to. I really should be a therapist. And it's like there is a trope, and I think it's true because everyone comes to us, and that means that we're available for everyone else, but are we really truly available for ourselves? And I think that we run the risk of not being available to ourselves because we do this for a living, right?
Yeah, and that leads to burnout. And it's funny, some of the funniest things on my social media feed will be therapists. Like this is what a therapist does in the 10 minutes between sessions. And it just they'll do the most ridiculous things. It's just not taking care of themselves. But sometimes the only meditation I do in a week are the guided meditations I'll talk the client through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, man,
Yeah, the minute it's like 4 p.m. and my laptop shuts and I know I have notes to do, I know I'm not engaging in some form of like self-care. I'm probably like binging on, movies and like eating a bowl of potato chips or something like that. Like anything to like fill the void at that moment. And I don't think that is a form of self-care. I think that
you put your potato chips in a bowl. I think my
I know, right? I thought you were saying a bowl of ice cream and you were like potato chips.
that's a form of self-care right there. Just putting your potato chips in a bowl.
I'm not gonna eat the whole bag. I'm just gonna eat half the bag.
Oh yeah, that. So yeah, I'm not, I don't think that like therapists are really good at understanding that we're probably the worst when it comes to taking care of ourselves.
And that makes so much sense. That like, yeah, that speaks to me. Like I can,
We're
yeah,
the biggest
I understand.
hypocrites, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're telling our clients to do all of these things, and we're so, like well informed about the things that everyone else needs, but I think we're hard pressed to really use them on ourselves. I know I
Yeah,
don't.
then I mean that kind of brings up another piece. I think in our relationships, whether they're well, probably not work relationships, but in outside relationships, I think there's like people presume or they make an assumption that we're going to show up perfectly. That we're not going to be the ones that we are taking care of ourselves. That we are
Mm.
holding boundaries. That we are doing whatever. But you're a therapist. How could you be this way? Or how could you say that? How could you? I was like, oh, I'm just a person out here. Like,
Yeah, it's like bumping into your therapist at the grocery store. Like, oh, my therapist is a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like they need to create some sort of nonprofit where therapists get away for a weekend or a week out of a year just to be regular and, and take care of themselves.
That's not enough. That's not a week out of a year.
I'm saying that's what I think that's minimal, but it'll help you to be able to, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do this myself for
Hmm.
myself. Yeah.
Mo, is that a new tattoo?
This one,
Let me see.
Yeah.
recent
Hmm.
August.
I haven't even seen that. Let me see.
I haven't. I thought it. Yeah. Oh, put it
Uh,
up.
No one's going to see this.
I'm seeing it. Is it a phoenix?
No,
Is it a phoenix?
it's a phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it last August.
Oh, cool.
that
I
tracks.
thought I thought it was new. I was like, I
That
don't think I've
tracks.
ever seen it.
You're like, hey Mo, I know I didn't see it in the video, but can I see that phoenix on your arm that I've been wondering what it looks like for this whole time?
So I put your business out there. And it was just
That's
like, wait,
okay.
what?
But I think that actually tracks with this whole conversation, to be completely honest. When I said that
It was
tracks,
a form of self-care.
well, yeah, but not only that, but I feel like you can't put Mo in a box, like how we joke, like you're always doing something new and different and reinventing your music or reinventing how you're practicing or if you're writing more, if you're seeing clients more or what it is, and you're constantly sort of reinventing yourself. And I think, yeah, that is a form of self-care.
I think a lot of it does stem from like burnout though. Like I'll get to a place where I'm like, oh, I've been seeing too many clients. And once you take on clients, right, you've got to work with them until they're ready to like go down to every other week, until they're ready to, graduate or whatever you want to call it. And I think I'll go through phases like that where I'll end up taking on a lot. And then, sorry, thank you. My front door is open, so I'm getting all sorts of deliveries and mail and whatnot. Sorry about that. But yeah, I can't.
What? Therapists get deliveries? Tattoos, deliveries, and bowl of chips.
We're saying that those changes and those reinventions and that phoenix coming out, that's all from burnout, or part of it stems from
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I am consistently in a state of burnout. Does anyone else feel that way?
yeah.
Is that a therapist thing, or is it because we're in a
I
capitalist
think
society?
so.
Like,
I think that's what you said. It's like that's crazy that we would never like if our client said that to us, yeah, it wouldn't land the same way. But we're just like, yeah, it's fine. We're in a constant state of burnout.
I feel that way.
yeah.
Well, that's why I'm like, all right, therapy. It's
What
been
is your
good.
what is your state? I feel like you switch it up a lot too, Melissa. What is your current what sort of
No, my switch up is like, okay, this was great. This was a good run. Ready for something completely different.
do you know what you're switching into?
No, what is it? Open. Let's do a review.
What was the
Can
packing feedback?
I'm gonna
What
go
would you
get the
say?
scissors because it's a last
Yay!
thing.
Oh, nice. Hmm.
I don't know. Something not like something emotionally and intellectually light.
which
So funny. I came to this after 20 plus years in the film industry, and I was a costumer. And so I would have to show up on set, and there was a big truck that followed me that was basically a mini mall. And like I had to have so much to do my job. Oh, Mo, those are so cool.
Oh, your pins.
The
Nice.
pins.
I love that.
Did you see the
Cute.
t-shirts?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did. I love the t-shirt. That's so cool.
Um, so yeah, and then well, anyway, sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go for
No, but I was saying, I came from the film industry where I was a costumer, and my job required me to have so much stuff with me. And when I decided to switch, I was like, I'm so glad. Like, I don't want to have to bring shit with me to my job. It's like if I show up, I'll get my brain, I
Yeah.
got a notebook, and I got some Wi-Fi. I'm cool.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it is just as draining. It is just as difficult as a well, I don't know, not physically.
It's different, draining in a different way. Yeah,
Exactly.
I came here from, I had worked in tech, and then I was working in music, and then I was like, I hate all of these jobs, and I'm gonna become a therapist. And this is actually one of the jobs that is stuck because I think when I finally got to a point, it was like, okay, everything is hard, right? All jobs are hard, and therapy is no different. But I've got to be able to do something, right? That I stick with. And so I think getting like creative around it was the goal here, because when you go to grad school, they really kind of teach you or we expect it maybe because of the culture and society that we live in, that we're going to get out of school and we're going to do 40 hours of therapy a week.
Oh, Lord.
9 to 5, right? Because that's what we do. But like what I always say is like 1 hour of therapy is like 3 hours of work, 3 or 4 hours of work. So if you're seeing 15 clients a week, which is what is considered full time at last, that's actually like 45 hours of work, like taxing work. So, but
Yeah.
most agencies consider full time 25 hours. So therapists are overworked and
Not this is
underpaid.
not an advertisement for people to go out and get some therapist.
And listen, even though Melissa and she'll have her pushback, I'm sure, but she's like, yeah, I'm kind of over this. I'm done with therapy, right? And so I was like, oh, Melissa, so what do you want to do? And then she'll explain and give it to me. And all the jobs that she want to do is still caregiving and taking care of somebody. Like, dude, like, what are you doing?
That's the truth.
Like, oh, I just want to give to people and I want to show up and see what they need and
Yeah, but on a lighter version, I'm like, let me help you, organize your stuff. Let me come clean up for you, whatever. Like, not sit with you and talk about your things. Also, I applied to care for plants. Like, I wanted to care for plants. They didn't hire me. I don't know what's happening. I can't even get hired to take care of plants. Like, oh my
You can take
goodness.
care of people, but you can't take care of plants. That's funny.
I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to switch out of this because there's so many student loans still to pay off. Like that,
Oh,
yeah,
don't get me to talking
yeah.
about that.
I I think I'm more like Mo. I think that because I was in the military for 10 years and I worked in the entertainment industry for like what 15, 16 years, I think that I too just realized like, you know what, everything is hard. So what is it that I can would want to choose to do that I enjoy that I don't, and so that's how I kind of landed here. It's like, I would enjoy doing this. Recently though, I was like, man, I've never been to a chiropractor in my life. I've just only had my third appointment. And I was in there, I was like, man, I feel like I would want to do this. So that would be another thing. But outside that, like, honestly, I just realized that going to work, like having to have a schedule and getting up and going to that job and having it, that felt really hard for me for so
Mhm.
long. And I have
Mhm.
no desire to do that anymore. Like
I
that,
think
that
about
feels
that.
like I don't have any say of my own life because I
Yeah.
have to report to somebody. Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. Like, what if I had to get out of bed right now and shower and leave the house to be somewhere by 9 o'clock, or God forbid, 8 o'clock or something, right? Like, can you imagine? Right. So, in that sense, it's not so bad, right?
That's how I look at it. Like getting up every morning to sit in traffic for an hour, hour and a half, to
Yeah.
go to work for 10 hours and come home for an hour and a half. Like, yeah, that was, yeah, nah.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
listen to everyone's problems because we get to do it from our couch, from
yeah,
the comfort of our home.
yeah.
And we get to, it's not like we're just listening to people's problems, but I think the bottom line is it's important for us to have a place to unload. And it's funny because, okay, let's say we are seeing 15 clients a week, but we only see our therapist 1 hour a week. Like that crosses my mind a lot too. I'm like, wouldn't we need 15 hours of therapy ourselves if we were seeing 15 hours of clients a week? So, um, so yeah, I think, that's why I think it's important that we attend. At last, I like to offer, there's supervision, there's consultation, there's all sorts of groups that you can join to talk about and process your life and your stuff. And all of our, like me and Kelly both supervise, and our supervision groups, we don't talk about cases all the time, right? Like, I think we do allow for a lot of room for therapists to talk about their own life because it's important that they do, and it impacts. And I know that Kelly and Wayne do that also in the coaching call. So I think that, like, as many clients as you have per week, you need as many places to go and process your life a week too. And that can be groups like we have, or it can be friends, it can be, you know, music is one way that I do it, like however you find an outlet, it's that's an important outlet for you,
Mm.
right?
I think too, Mo, in addition to that, what I am really grateful for you and Last and Kelly and people at Last, like, um, you've also always encouraged us to, to find our, like you just said, like to find our way, find our path, find our way of doing therapy, that is unique to us and that feels good to us. Like you never tried to have this like really rigid way that we should be therapists. And you've always encouraged us to just, like in terms of clients, you always gave us an option. You always were like, hey, what are you feeling like? How many clients do you want to take on? Do you want to see? And what are your reasons for doing it? Maybe you do need, some extra income, whatever. Like, so, and in the ways that which we practice and how we show up as therapists and people, just people, in our therapy practice. So I really appreciate you and Last and the whole team for that.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. And I think I learned a long time ago that I can't do therapy full time. So I can't imagine and I can't expect that for anyone that comes to Last to everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to want to work in a different capacity. Some people want a full caseload of clients, and then some people are like me and Melissa that are just like, let's see like two a week.
Well, and we talked about
Literally me.
I have five right now, but
yeah.
I like five. Sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
I also we have to also address like how isolating it is. We can talk about it in case consultation. We can talk about it with other people at Last, but we can't talk about it at a dinner party with all of our friends, right? Like because we have to hold these. We have to hold these secrets
Yes.
or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
We have to.
confidentiality.
Yeah, the
Yes.
confidentiality of it all. Thanks, I couldn't think of the word. And that makes it even that much more isolating, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked about this before. Not sure if I've said it on this podcast, but one thing that helped me in the beginning was when I started doing the YouTube channel because I found myself wanting to educate more and wanting to share tidbits that might help my clients. And I didn't have a lot of space in the sessions to do that. Like you have a little bit of space here to psychoeducate someone and
Mhm.
but you're really taking in so much of their personal specifics and so for me, I think, and I do it on TikTok now and I do it on YouTube, just like being able to share information has been so cathartic for me, right? Like, because we do hold the stories and just like you were talking about, like the case conceptualization idea, where yes, we hold the stories of, I work with couples, so I hold the stories of multiple couples, but there's always similar threads
Yeah.
running through. And to be able to get on like a social media platform and talk about what we know about relationships or what we know about sexuality or what we know about intimacy was really cathartic for me in those days when I had a lot more clients, right? It really gave me I was able to get it out, right? wasn't like holding on to this like angst because my couples were struggling. I was able to just like go out there and be like, well, these are the couples I'm helping, but if this helps anyone else, that would be great. So that's when I think for me, I realized educating is more of what I enjoy about this work than necessarily doing the one-on-one and holding, like 10 client stories a week. That was a lot harder for me than actually like, sharing it with a larger population or like writing
Yeah.
books or whatever. Like that became
Mhm.
more of the lane that felt more aligned with me. And that's how I knew like if my story is I can't see that many clients, but I can share what I know in these ways, then the therapists that come through Last, they're all going to have different stories also.
Mhm.
And you're so good at Mo. I mean, you're an amazing therapist as well, but
Oh, thank you. I'm okay.
you're such a good educator. I really enjoyed watching your YouTube stuff when I first started. I was like binge watching your YouTube shows. It was fun. I learned a lot.
Oh, thanks. That was fun. That was a highlight
Yeah.
of this we journey, I think.
Mhm.
But they're all in the program now.
That's cool. And now people get to binge listen to this
Yes.
podcast that we're all a part of, that I'm in.
All right, I've got to take care of. Speaking of, so
Yep. I
So
have
you got
one
what?
The
too.
clients.
Oh, client.
to take
Yeah.
care of. Speaking of taking care of folks, so
Good to see everyone.
I
Good
still
conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
Go do amazing work, Kelly. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for listening. Shades of Pleasure podcast is currently unsponsored and is brought to you by Los Angeles Sex Therapy and Last Collective in partnership with Shades Therapy and Shades of Non-Monogamy. To support our endeavor so we can continue to bring this pleasurable content, please visit our Substack at pleasureforthemasses.substack.com. Thank you for listening, and until next time.